Banking has to be the most dubious business in the world, right? And this is not just me saying it. If you hate your bank, say aye. Now the eyes have it. Tell me, what other business will let you collect money from your customers with the promise of keeping it safe, then allows you to go ahead and give 90% of that money to your friends to do business with, make all the profits with the high interest they pay back to you, but you only have to pay a tiny fraction of that interest to your customers whose money you just gave out, right? And you get to charge them some extra fees for account maintenance. They are basically paying you for using their money. I think I need to start a bank. But hang on, it doesn't end there. You can employ young and brilliant graduates, force them to work like slaves, and pay them stipends at the end of the month if and only if they are able to bring in millions and billions in new investments into your business. Just call them marketers and give them a car. Oh, that car is a loan, and you can just make deductions from their salaries. But you don't stop there. You can also help your friends in politics launder their money, because of course they will protect you and you get to make some extra bucks on the side. Oh, did I mention the most interesting part of all this? The economy cannot survive without you. Even if you mess things up and like engage in some fraud and all that, the government will always come to your aid and bail you out when the going gets tough. Welcome to the world of banking, folks. I present to you the most evil business in the world. When you visit a commercial bank to open an account, you get like the best treatment in the world. And this is because they make money from fees and charges applied on your account whenever you make a transaction. Some of these fees are called maintenance fees, but there's something else that makes the bank so excited. That is deposits. Yeah, banks love it when you bring them money, and you'll be forgiven for thinking they use your money to run businesses on their own. No, they don't, and they don't leave that money lying around either. You see that bank vault that is so sacred? They don't keep your money there, not a substantial amount anyway. Whenever you make a bank deposit to your local commercial bank, the bank is required to hold just 10% of that money. 90% of your deposit is then given out to a business person. Let's say a baker, an importer, or even a car dealer as a loan. Yeah, sometimes politicians too. You know, there are so many perks that come with being a politician, but that's a story for another day. So let's say Chinedu is a young entrepreneur and he went to his bank to make a deposit of 50 million naira. Yeah, I know the FCC are watching. They will go for him now that I mentioned it. But let's go back to the bank. Chinedu's bank will put that cash in the vault, at least until Chinedu leaves. Then they will write out the figure in his account balance so he can see it anytime he checks. But when that is done, this commercial bank will then take out 90% of that 50 million and give it out as a loan. But to whom? Here comes Tunde, a contractor who is in need of 45 million naira to complete a construction in his site. He approaches the bank and says, hey, can I get like 45 million naira real quick? I will pay back in 6 months. And don't worry, you can have my land documents as collateral should I default. The bank then says, sweet, we have Chinedu who just brought us 50 million naira. We can give this dude some 45 million naira from inside and make some extra cash from this deal. You know, this business is great, right? And just like that, the bank now has somewhere to make a loan of 45 million naira from. But hang on, you can't get that cash. No. Get 45 million naira cash? Are you crazy? You don't want to bring 𝗪𝗵𝗲𝗿 here, do you? So the bank completes all the paperwork and then types in an SMS called alert informing Tunde that the 45 million naira is now in his bank account. Mind you, no cash was taken from the bank. No money was withdrawn from anywhere to give him this 45 million naira. So out of thin air, 45 million naira was just deposited into Tunde's account. But wait a minute, I thought you said they took 90% out of Chinedu's money to be able to make this loan possible. Yeah, on paper. Because it turns out Chinedu just checked his account balance and guess what? His 50 million is still intact. No deductions whatsoever. Friends, this is the magical operation of banking. They create new money whenever they give out loans. They give out loans based on your deposits, and they make profits from the loan's interest as well as charges. And you, the depositor, get to pay some of these charges in the form of monthly maintenance fees. This whole operation is what keeps the economy going. But if it was this simple, why did banks suddenly become so evil?
It is my opinion that you do not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal, and it's been going on for too long.
In 2016, a scandal broke out in the United States. No, I'm not talking about the election that brought in Donald Trump. This scandal happened in a bank called Wells Fargo, which at the time was the world's largest bank. It so happened that over 3.5 million accounts had been secretly opened for customers without their knowledge and authorization. So hold on, let's make this real. Imagine you are a bank customer and you woke up one morning to a text from your bank saying, "Hey Joe, you now have an account with us, a new one. Here is your new account number, and do well to come pick up your ATM card. We will apply the standard 1,000 naira charge for maintenance." And you're like, WTF? Who asked you to open a new bank account for me? As it turned out, there were 3.5 million such cases in the United States in 2016, all courtesy of Wells Fargo, the world's largest bank at the time. This random account opening was done by employees of the bank in response to unrealistic sales and marketing targets set for them by the admin of the bank. The employees were told to open as many accounts for their customers as possible, and the bank knowingly looked the other way when these employees breached every known banking laws and protocols, such as customer permission. When the scandal got so serious and the US government decided to get involved, Wells Fargo fired over 5,000 employees and paid over $3 billion in penalties after reaching a settlement agreement with the US Justice Department in 2020. This scandal damaged Wells Fargo's reputation as a result of the negative publicity. Banks and banking regulators around the world took some lessons from the incident, and in some countries, banking laws and operating practices were reviewed to avoid getting caught up in a similar mess. Nigerian banks, though, decided to take some inspiration from this scandal and sort of recreated their own versions of it. This is 𝗪𝗵𝗲𝗶 Bank, a Nigerian commercial bank. They have somehow become accustomed to scandals of late. According to an investigative piece done by David Hundeyin, 𝗪𝗵𝗲 Bank took up inspiration from the Wells Fargo scandal to create their own. This Nigerian bank has a digital banking division called Alert. It has been running for quite a while, and they even brag about being the pioneer of Africa's first fully digital bank. When Alert turned 5, 𝗪𝗲𝗶 decided to celebrate the anniversary in style. To do this, the bank thought it wise to set an insane target for its sales team. The target, the bank said, was to open 1 million new accounts in one single day. Yeah, in just 24 hours. Nigeria, as at 2021, had about 134 million accounts. The folks at 𝗪𝗲𝗶 wanted, and they also thought it possible, to increase this number by almost 1% in just 24 hours. The bank somehow announced that it was able to achieve this sales target. That is, they were able to open 1 million accounts in one single day. Now I know you're asking, where are the regulators? They should have looked into the bank to see what they did, right? But what regulators? You mean 𝗪𝗵𝗲𝗂𝗧 and co, right? When some of these new customers raised a concern that the bank had illegally opened an account for them without their knowledge and consent, the bank openly admitted that they did because someone with their information thought there will be a good fit. And now the question becomes, a good fit for what? Well, let's not focus on 𝗪𝗲𝗶 Bank too long, else UBA will escape from scrutiny. I guess you already know it is not just 𝗪𝗲𝗶 Bank that are into this evil practice. Other banks have also been accused of unauthorized account openings. According to this investigation by David Hundeyin, which I will link down below, there was this case at the Federal High Court in Lagos, Nigeria. It was May 6, 2022, and a federal high court judge, Justice 𝗪𝗂𝗧𝘂𝗧𝗂𝗧, was presiding over a case involving one Mr. 𝗪𝗃𝗂𝗧𝗂𝗧 and his bank, the United Bank for Africa, known as UBA. According to this case file, Mr. 𝗪𝗃𝗂𝗧𝗂𝗧 had received a payment of $450 in March of 2021, but rather than credit his UBA domiciliary account, which he had opened with the bank in 2020, this payment went to a new domiciliary account that the bank had opened for him without his knowledge or permission. When 𝗪𝗪𝗂𝗧𝗂𝗧 received an SMS alert from the bank informing him about his new account and the amount credited into it, he went to the bank's head office demanding an explanation. The bank simply told him that it had opened a new account for him so as to comply with the CBN's Naira for Dollar scheme, which authorized banks to set up domiciliary accounts for customers that did not have them. Well, this customer already had a domiciliary account open since 2020. So what was this explanation about? But the bank refused to refund the money into his existing account or close the fraudulent account, even after he wrote to them with these demands twice. The aggrieved customer, left with no other option, decided to go to court. And then UBA, out of the blues, sent his lawyer a letter claiming that the new account had been opened due to a system glitch and that the $450 had been refunded to his existing account. However, no bank statement or proof was provided to corroborate the alleged refund. After listening to both sides of the argument and boring himself with the evidence and all that, Justice 𝗪𝗂𝗧𝗂𝗧𝗂 sided with the customer and awarded damages against UBA for violating the customer's right to privacy. But the evil business practices didn't stop at Wema or UBA alone. In 2008, 𝗪𝗃cie Limited, a private company in Lagos, took out a loan from Polaris Bank, which was then known as Sky Bank. The loan amount is not public knowledge, but 5 years after obtaining that loan, this company would come to regret its actions. It was December 2013 when Sky Bank sent 𝗪𝗃cie Limited a confirmation of its loan balance, stating that it was 4.1 billion naira. Okay, that's huge, but the amount was not the problem, at least not until a few hours later on the same day, when another confirmation of loan balance came in from the same Sky Bank with a completely different figure on it. This time, the stated loan balance left to be repaid was 5.2 billion naira. There was no explanation as to how this figure magically jumped by 1.1 billion naira in just a few hours. Now, it is not every day a bank gets its customers' account balance totally wrong by over 1.1 billion naira, right? The company, alarmed by this ridiculous foul play, requested a statement of account from Sky Bank. You know, those signed papers from the bank showing exactly how much you have left in your account, right? Yeah, that's the one. Just a piece of paper. It's nothing huge, right? But this request would take Sky Bank 4 years, like 1, 2, 3, 4. 12 months multiplied by 4. And guess what? No response, even after the 4th year. Sky Bank did not provide a statement or give any reasons why. Between 2013 and 2017, the company made several attempts to obtain a statement of account from Sky Bank, but the bank ignored this request. In October 2017, the company wrote officially to Sky Bank asking for its statement of account. Once again, Sky Bank ignored the request without offering any explanation. Finally, in April 2018, the company went to court to try and force Sky Bank to get the account statement. They obtained a ruling on April 17, 2018, ordering Sky Bank to provide the requested statement of account immediately. But once again, there was radio silence from Sky Bank. Welcome to Nigeria, where anybody can just disobey court orders without penalty. Now, with Sky Bank refusing to comply even with court order, 𝗪𝗃cie Limited wrote to the CBN. But you know what they say about birds of same feathers, right? They got no significant response even from that end. Now, out of options, the company decided to go back to court a second time to get the prior ruling enforced. This was now in 2019, 6 years on from making a simple request for an account statement. At this point, the bank was no longer Sky Bank. Following the CBN takeover, they were now known as Polaris Bank. At this time, following Skybank's transformation into Polaris Bank, the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, had taken over the bank's liabilities and assets, including its loan portfolio. So, if you were initially owing Skybank some money, you would now have to pay that to AMCON. But on the list of loans payable to AMCON, 𝗪𝗂𝘂𝗧𝘂𝗧 loan was mysteriously without an account statement. In January 2019, AMCON wrote to 𝗪𝗂𝘂𝘂𝗧𝘂𝗵 informing the company that it now owned the loan, but no loan balance was stated in the letter. With 𝗪𝗂𝘂𝘂𝗧𝘂𝗵's case still in the Federal High Court pending a hearing, something dramatic happened. First, it was in March 2020, and AMCON and Polaris decided to institute a joint motion to dispute the jurisdiction of the court to hear the case. And the judge somehow ruled in favor of AMCON and Polaris. Why exactly was it so important to AMCON and Polaris Bank that 𝗪𝗂𝘂𝘂𝗧𝘂𝗵 Limited must not have access to a statement of account to find out exactly how much it owed? With the case still in court, AMCON suddenly began making rapid moves to sell 5 properties in Ikoyi, Lagos, which were used as collateral for the initial loan. But you know the most interesting part of this Polaris story? On the 2nd of August 2022, the People's Gazette reported that the CBN had received presidential permission to sell Polaris Bank to 𝗪𝗲 𝗂𝗂𝗪, a relative of former military dictator Ibrahim Babangida, for a knockdown price of 40 billion naira. This was following AMCON's 1.2 trillion naira rescue of the lender in 2018. Yes, banks are evil, but they are empowered by the government and its institutions to remain evil. I can never trust an organization that courageously lend out money they do not own, make profits off that money, and when they make bad loans, they run to the government for cover, and the government is always granting that. Banks go under for diverse fraud and corruption. Heard about Oceanic Bank, or is it Intercontinental Bank that won Best Bank of the Year one year and the next year there are no more? I cannot trust a financial organization that can decide to just go into the office and print more money at the directive of whatever politician is in charge, and this effectively reduces the value of all of our savings with them. How do you trust an organization that can decide to open up a new account in your name without your permission, and this they do with all of your private information? And if you reside in Nigeria, how do you trust in a financial institution that can decide to make all of your currency notes worthless, cause unspeakable hardship, all in the name of implementing some policies that doesn't even help your economy get better? How do you trust banks when their only incentive is profits? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this one. Check this video showing up on your screen right now, and I'll see you inside.